to come to the presence of God. You decided to leave bad friends to walk with God. Don't go back. Don't go back. You decided to stop prostitution to walk with God. Don't go back. You decided to sell drugs and then you made up your mind you will sell again. You've come to God. Don't go back. The people will get themselves. But thou sayest the Lord hosts. In the scripture, he said, they shall still be broken. What is the devil planning against you? What is the devil planning against you? And then he said again, they get themselves again, they try again, and they shall be what? Broken in pieces. You may be a student. You may have friends and they have a way of doing things and you know the way they do things is not God. You may have friends that show you connections and you know these connections are not from God and you choose to withdraw from them. I have news for you. If you see them gathering against you, do not fear, because the power of God is going to cause the gathering to be broken in pieces. Amen. Shout hallelujah. Hallelujah. And the Bible says, and then we are almost to the fourth, to the seventh point of the wicked gathering. And the Bible says they will now take counsel against you. They take what? Counsel together. Counsel, which means they will even give themselves advice. Sister Kate, do it this way. Sister Ngozi, do it this way. Brother Frank, do it this way. You say this, and then you say it this way. And then let's now go together. If you are in a working place, they may say, let's go to the boss. Or let's go together to speak against you to the supervisor. Or let's go together to the manager. It's always in degrees. And the Bible says, hey, child of God, even when they come together to advise themselves, they shall be broken. Shout hallelujah. Hallelujah. Do you feel like people come together to discuss you negatively? Do you feel like whatever you do, they see something wrong? There are people, when you meet them in the street, they have nothing good to say. When you were fat, they told you you are too fat. When you sleep, you are too sleep. Now, there is nothing that comes out of the mouth of people that encourages. When you are short, you should have been tall. Now, when you are tall, it's not the best for you. When you are dark, you are too dark. When you get fair, they say you are bleaching. So you are living a life of associations that are not together to promote you, but to demote you. But I have word from God for you, that it doesn't matter how these people may come together, they shall be broken. Now the Lord says, when they finish the counseling together, they will go to another dimension, which is about maybe the 12th dimension, and he says they speak the word. Satan went to Jesus and spoke the word. Did the Lord says you cannot change stones to bread? They speak words that may be appealing. They speak words that may make sense, but the words are twisted words. And the Bible says, even when they speak a word, it's because the earth was created by words. So the words of people are actually supposed to stand in the realms against you. But the Bible says, because you are a chosen child of God and the enemy is coming against you, the storm of words shall not stand. Amen. a storm which is called a billow on the sea, or storm which is in the wind as tornado or hurricane, storms of words. There are people waking up in the morning crying because of what somebody said. There are people right now crying in their lives because of what people are saying. And I want to address anyone who is hurt by words. That the words of people cannot stand in your life if you trust in God.
Amen.
It is only the word of God that will stand for you.
Amen.
Even if your father, your mother, open mouth to say you will see, tell them they will see Jesus.
Amen.
Because there is nothing which is spoken out of mouth of people that can do anything about what God has said. Amen. He is the maker. And the Bible said right from Genesis he spoke. And so the words of God in your life is what must stand.
Amen.
Stand up and say nothing shall stand against me except the word of God.
Except the word of God.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Don't wake up anymore in the morning and be crying because they say. Don't even wake up in the morning and try to remember what somebody said. What is God saying about your life? Did the Lord tell you because you have stopped selling drugs, so you beg for bread? No. If someone is telling you things that you think or they think should be, and the Lord did not say it, don't accept it, don't absorb it, and don't think it. Now let me come to this spot. It can be that the one who is speaking is your spouse, your own husband, or your own wife. It can be that the one who is speaking, which is not from God, are words coming from a close friend. The closeness of your relationship with that person doesn't mean that that person has the audacity to navigate your destiny.
Never.
What God says is what stands.
Amen.
Any other thing, it shall not stand.
Amen.
And then the Lord says, neither shall it come to pass.
Amen.
I heard somebody clapping. And the psalmist Isaiah the prophet concluded the scripture by saying, it is all because God is with you.
Me.
If there is any prayer to pray right now, it is the prayer to say, God, be with me. And then I will be with God. Hallelujah. That's it. Thank you for clapping. Stop worrying yourself about pleasing people. Let not the poor try to please the rich. And let not the rich try to please the poor. Be yourself. Walk with God. If anybody met you on your way of destiny, and the person was supposed to help you, and the person did not help you, you don't have to be hurt. Because you know, your destiny is not depending on the helping of people. It depends on what God has said. It depends on the mind of God. There are junior ministers that are heartbroken because they were expecting help from their senior ministers. There are senior ministers that are heartbroken because their junior ministers walked away. And sometimes they walk away with some of the congregation. And they don't just go, they create stories. They take offenses and they frame. And that's what the Bible is saying. They speak the words, they give ears, they speak things in the air. But the air and the words all inside are still storms. Storms are not supposed to break your wings. Storms come so that you can rise above the storm and move to destination. The eagle is not supposed to be within the storm. The eagle is supposed to be above the storms. And if it's a billow, if it is a billow, which is the storm of the water, if it is the billow, you are not supposed to be on top of the storm. It will blow you vehemently. You are to go under for whatever is passing to bypass. So sometimes you would need the humility approach to humble yourself and let them talk what they want to talk. And sometimes you need rising approach to lift up your head to the mountain to where your help comes from and don't care about what anybody says till you get to where you are going to.
Hallelujah.
My biological father didn't believe in speaking in tongues. So I will say he was a billow. And when the person is an authority, what do? I decided to humble myself and get missing so nobody would even see me. Yes, that's what happens in our life. There are some situations that are so terrific that when they come against you, you can't help it, but you just have to hide yourself. The situation will hide you. You can't be seen nowhere. I see people forcing themselves to make themselves popular. I see people trying to be in association so they can see them. But you can tell that there are some conditions that when they come in your life, even when you go in the midst of the people, they don't want you.
Yes.
Hide yourself. Stay away. Walk with God. One thing you need in life is God with you, Emmanuel.
Hallelujah.
Now the psalmist said, when I go under the water, you are there.
Yes.
And when I move to the highest mountain, you are there. And so whether the situation blew you up so that your mind was so confused that you did not know what to do with yourself. But I hear somebody say, God, all I need is you. God, just be with me. God, just be with me. You don't need human beings. You need God. When God is with you, then the human beings, whether they are good or bad, everything is under control. Now, some people have taken themselves trouble to even sometimes divorce because they think this human being by me doesn't speak anything good. But if you can learn how to shield yourself and those words don't get to you, it will mean nothing. Because it doesn't matter how much you are hearing it. If you learn how to walk with God, it is not the solution of sometimes avoiding them. It's a solution of passing through the circumstance till God says enough is enough. God has power to heal. And God has power to heal. Just do what God doesn't like. Walk with God in a way that you will do what God doesn't like. You do what God likes. You do what, sorry, I'm taking it back. You do what God likes. So if God doesn't like something, don't do it. Because the only place where you can get to destination is Emmanuel. God with us. So my question this moment, as I run up this short exaltation, is that are you in the state that God likes? The way you speak, does God like it? The way you think, does God like it? The plans you are planning, is it God's will? Where you want to go this afternoon, does God like it? What you want to say, does God like it? If what you are doing is standing on what God likes, I have an announcement for you. They will associate themselves, they shall be broken. Amen. They will get themselves, they shall be broken. They will speak some words, they shall be broken. It shall not stand. Amen. Because God is with you. Amen. I like the psalm, it says it will come to naught. Nothing. The word not means nothing. It will come to what? Nothing. What does this mean? It simply means that you went into fire, and you all know that when fire burns a person, the person's skin will show that that person got burnt. Yeah. But we know about 3 young men that went into fire in the Bible. And the Bible says they came out of the fire and their body did not show anything. Now I'm telling you, the word it will come to naught means nothing will be nothing. In Jesus' name. I don't look like one who went through fire. And so you shall never look like one that went. Amen. Anything Satan did against me in Brescia, it has come to nothing. Hallelujah. I'm telling you from today, may your life be a testimony. Amen. If I stand here to exalt you in this church, I am called to stand here to minister to you, for you to see the example of what God can do when all men are against one thing. You may have your differences, but keep what you know to yourself and leave people alone. The house of God has become a place of gossip center. There are people who wake up in the morning and all they can talk about is to take a phone and be talking about spiritual authority or about friends. You are among the associations that are coming to naught. You are among the associations that will be broken. You are among the associations that will be shattered in pieces. Because it's not God's will that we should associate ourselves against somebody. And he says to you, child of God, if you will let him stay in your heart and you stay in him, he will cover you from the billows. He will deliver you from the troubles. Amen. And these 13 weapons of Satan will come to naught. Amen. Yes, sometimes it can linger long. The storm sometimes can stay 7 years. Oh, I'm telling you, some storms can stay 10 years. A bad condition can last that long. My Bible tells me a cripple rose and walked after 37 years. And so it's not about how long you are suffering, but it's about the end that it shall come to naught. Amen. Rise up, everybody. I have come to speak into your life. I don't know what you are waiting for, but I want you to know that nothing stays long when God is with you. Now, the word nothing stays long simply means you will not be weary. Amen. Neither can you faint. Amen. Because the man that is creating you is not just a man but a God. Yes. He is intelligent. He permits the storms. And if the storm is staying long, which means your journey is far, and he has to intensify the storm till everything comes out to your destination.
Amen.
He's a master of time. He created time phase on earth so that morning and afternoon is in his hands. He is the God of the seasons. He is your maker. He knows when you were created because he created you. And the Bible says he did not just speak you to be, but he used his own hands to form you. You are beautifully created.
Amen.
You are handsomely created.
Amen.
Will God take his time and create a beautiful thing and leave it in the hands of people?
No.
Will God create you and leave you in the hands of associations? No. Will God have a plan for your life and leave you in the midst of the storm because he does not care? No. Didn't he tell us even the bird, before the bird will fall from a tree, he will account of that bird? Yes. Are you not more than birds that flies? Yes. Are you not more than anything? And the Bible said you are so critically important to God that he made a decision to bring his son, who is your brother. Now get this thing right. God is our father, but Jesus is our senior brother. Your brother has come on earth and he has shown you how you can make it. And his ways are not your ways. You are to know one thing. You see, when I was younger, I trusted my brothers. Because especially if you are a female, you trust in your brother. And of course, if you are a man and you have a senior brother, you just trust your brother. Because your brother can help you to become what you are born to be. But human brothers are no good. If God doesn't use them for you, you don't need them. They may help you halfway and they will forget about you. I am talking about the God who becomes your brother.
Amen.
I'm talking about the Creator who becomes your brother. The Bible said he came on earth, he walked, he ate, he spoke, he walked on the sea. He did everything as a human being to show you it is possible. I don't see why you can't do it. Because Jesus did it. He was not a superman. We remember that he slept in a boat. He was so tired that the storms started coming on into the boat. The water started coming into the boat. And he was so much asleep that they have to wake him up. That is how human Jesus walks on earth. You think you are going through something that is too much, so that you have to create your own excuses? Come on. This is the King of Kings who receives slaps in the face of people that created him. And with you, even the one who is slapping you did not create you. You did not create them. The Bible said they spat in his face. Has people spat in your face? Has people said things that are so bad? Your brother took it. He didn't care about the associations. He didn't care about the Pharisees. Neither did he care about the Sadducees. He didn't care about those who just look at things and they come up with stories about you. The Bible said Jesus kept focus on the plan of God. Jesus kept focus. Come on, everybody, look at me right here. Amen. Jesus kept focus on what? The plan of God. What's the plan of God for your life today? You don't even know what God has planned for you. But I can tell you, the plan of God for your life, that it must be well with you.
Amen.
The plan of God for your life is that whatever you ask him, you must receive.
Amen.
He said, ask me, the Holy Spirit. When the Holy Spirit, which is God with us factor, if Emmanuel is with you, you don't struggle. May your bank be God.
Amen.
May your joy be God.
Amen.
May your family be God.
Amen.
May your mates be God.
Amen.
Let everything from today about you be God.
Amen.
May your marriage be God.
Amen.
May your children be God.
Amen.
Continue to cultivate God's presence in your life.
Amen.
Because when His presence is with you, the association will be broken in pieces.
Amen.
The words, the evil words spoken against you will be broken in pieces.
Amen.
You are not going to dance to the tune of people who feel superior against you.
Amen.
You are not going to dance to people who think that they have something you don't have. You keep God and you keep walking. They may have a good ride you may not have. They may have good marriages you may not have. It just doesn't matter. Everything about you is on course. Anything you are experiencing is on course. The troubles that have come your way is on course. Everything you have gone through in your life is preparing you to your destination.
Amen.